Hello everybody, this is the Dumb and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I am gonna be making my very first game. I've decided to create a 3D farming game in a third-person perspective. I want it to have a build system where you can customize your house block by block. So, for now, my focus will be on three main systems: the building system, inventory system, and farming system. I want to keep everything as simple as possible so I don't get overwhelmed as I'm just starting out. I'll be using Unity for this project because there are tons of tutorials available online. I know there have been some issues with Unity this year, but since I'm just getting started with game development, I think I'll be fine. So without further ado, let's start making the game. I have no idea what I am doing right now, and I do not know what the game is gonna be, so I will be naming the project My First Game. This is just a practice project game for me. But I hope I can make it a decent playable game. For player movement, I'm going to use a third-person controller from the Unity store. I might change this later on, but it should work for now. Next, I created a crosshair by following a tutorial on YouTube. It can change focus by changing the size of the panel. Not sure where to use this yet, but it's a feature I can use if I want to. Then I move it on the top left of the player by adjusting the Cinemachine camera. Now let's dive in the building system. To start the building system, I created a script that let the player instantiate an object where the cursor hit another object by pressing the mouse left click. I also added a delay so it does not spawn multiple objects at once. It also shows where the item will get instantiated. The player can also rotate the object by using the mouse scroll. I tried to make a build snapping features for the object. However, the objects didn't seem to like the idea, so they keep rejecting each other. After some counseling and therapy, good thing it eventually accept their differences and work together to help me make this game. I also added a script that turns the object red if the player is obstructing the placement area. Now onto the inventory system. This includes a hotbar and player inventory, allowing players to pick up, drop, and manage items. To create the inventory system, first I created the inventory slot. It consists of the background, then the item sprite that will show the item image and the stack size text. Then I created a script that instantiate the inventory slots to a panel object with a grid layout group. Grid layout group then arrange the slots. I also did the same thing for the hotbar with only 8 slots. Then created a script that allows the player to pick up items and add it to the inventory. I also added a script that let the player drop the item from the inventory. Then, using the Unity input system, I added a shortcut for the hat bar. The player can press number 1 to 8 to switch active hat bar slot. To open the inventory, the player can press keyboard key I. I also make the left-click button of the mouse as the attack or destroy key. So when the player left-click on the building object, it will be converted to its drop item. It doesn't have a delay for now, but it will be added in the future. The player can now also pick building object on the hotbar. In here there's nothing was changed except I have added test sprites for the blocks as you can see on the hotbar. I still have some things I need to add on the inventory system. But for now I will be moving on to the farming system. I added a cube with a 0.1y scale that is going to be the farming plot. And I have added 4 spheres to represent the crops. Then I added a script that will increase the size of the sphere once placed on the plot, and then the player can harvest the crops. And that is the farming system. I know it's too simple and there is still a lot of things to consider, like its growth speed, the harvest yield, where to get the seed and how to take care of the plants. But for now I will leave it like these and proceed on creating the 3D models and sprites. Before that, I created a chest to easily check if the sprites look good in the inventory. I also added a script that displays the item name in the bottom left corner of the screen when hovering over an item. In most games, items typically drop when the chest is destroyed. However, in my game, the items explode instead. This will do for now. It's my future self problem, not mine. Now, I'll start creating the models for the crops. I didn't record the process since I'm not sure how to model, and I just focused on getting it done. So here is me creating a Flappy Bird clone sprite. Flappy Bird is the first game I created on Unity and this game is the second one. But I did not consider Flappy Bird as the first game I created since I just copy it. Please let me know if you are interested on me uploading me creating the Flappy Bird game. It includes me coding the game, but it was so long I didn't know how to edit the video. That is why I never uploaded it. I am also kind of dumb, just like the channel's name. I can't speak when recording, the reason why I am using a text-to-speech in this video. It is something I am working on myself. That is also why this video takes so long to make. I am trying to use my own voice, but it just slowing me down, so I use text-to-speech. I will eventually try to use my own voice, but for now this will do. Since I'm broke, I'm using free apps, Photopea for the sprites and Blender for the 3D models. For the plant crops, I based them on Minecraft's designs, creating for sprites facing different directions to give a 3D illusion. This sprite can be divided into 8 individual sprites. The first 6 are the growth stage and the last 2 are for inventory sprite. Here is what it looks like on the game. This is the first stage of growth on a carrot. Here is the carrot I made on Blender. I just follow a tutorial on YouTube to make this. I also created a potato and wheat. Here is the potato and wheat sprites. There's also a rotten sunny side up egg. I mean the farming plot, sorry, I created this without a tutorial. I also make some building system model, like a wooden roof, wooden wall, wooden floor, and a garden fence. I use a single color for the material cause it might complicate things if I added a texture. Now, I'll create the 3D model for the chest. I was able to record making the chest because it is the last model I created before this video. And it's fairly straightforward since it has fewer components, and I'm just going for a classic Minecraft chest design. This will be a temporary model, as I plan to update it later. However, creating this one will help with any future chests I design. I'll separate the lid so I can animate the opening and closing later on. While I'm not adding the animation just yet, it's nice to have it prepared for when I need it. I was already going to add color to the model. However, I saw that I mess up the mirror modifier so the other hinge disappear, and I already used up all the undo option. Good thing I was able to fix it up by adding another mirror modifier. Then finally proceed on adding the color. Let's import everything into Unity and see how it looks. First, we'll take a look at the chest in-game. It's a classic Minecraft double chest, and I think the size is perfect. I'll use these dimensions as a reference for the new design I will be creating in the future. Here are the building items inside the chest. You can see the item name at the bottom left of the screen. I think it looks alright except the floor and the farming plot. It's kind of hard to see what the item is. Please let me know what you think. Here are the farming items. Carrots, carrot seeds, the plot, potato, potato sprouts, wheat, and wheat seeds. Now let's get the items from the chest and look at the item models. Let's first get the building items. As you can see, the first row of the player inventory automatically became the hotbar items. That is how the player can choose which item they want on the hotbar. I only get the seeds and sprouts on the farming items because I plan to make the carrots, potato and wheat to be just a consumable items, and they are not needed on the farming. Here's the garden fence model I created. I think it looks good, especially when placed in a row, which is typically how this type of fence is used. And here is the plot model I created. I'm not entirely sure about it. The scale makes it challenging to align with the fence and other building objects. Since players can place objects freely, I might consider switching to a grid placement system. If you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. Now, let's take a look at the building objects. Here's the wooden wall I created. It has 4 horizontal planks on the front and 2 support planks on the back. It's similar to the floor, with the only difference being its rotation. The player can also add a double wall if they do not like the look of the 2 plank support on the back. I still also need to create a wood beam or a log pole for the side of the walls. Then let us create a simple farm with the items we have. I will first place the plot for the potato. Then plant the potato sprouts. Here is the potato plant. Let's place the plot for the carrots and wheat plant. Now we can plant the carrots. Then the wheat. Add some fence and our garden is done. Now for the plants. I think the potato and the carrots are too tall. I don't think those plant grows as tall as a person. It was like this because I was still experimenting on importing sprites on Unity when I made the potato and the carrots. I will change it eventually, but for now I think it's alright. The wheat I think is the perfect size. Let us try to harvest the crops. I made it so when the plant is fully grown it will have a random drop from 4 to 7. The drop keeps on exploding when harvested. It is something that needs to change on the next video. I might change it so that the drop directly went to the player's inventory or just have one drop with multiple stack. Please let me know your thoughts. There is still a lot of things that need to be done. I want this game to be simple and easy. But I think it got a little bit bigger than what I wanted it to be. I still have few systems that I need to make for the game. But the scripts are already getting hard to navigate. And adding items is getting tedious. The video is 15 minutes long. I don't know if it's too short or too long. I don't include the coding part because I am not sure what I was doing and adding the coding might take a lot of time. I am also new to video editing and I still learning how it work. What to include and not to include on the video. I might have skipped a lot of important part of the game development. But I need to upload this video and stop procrastinating. I just Google that word. I can't even say it. Also, English is not my native language, so there might be some error on my grammar. I know there is a grammar checker online and I am already using a text-to-speech, but with the way I do things it's too much of a hassle checking everything. But I do check it sometimes, just not everything. I sometimes ask ChatGPT for advice as well. Thank you so much for watching. In the next video, I'll work on turning this into a proper game. If you enjoy the video, Please like and subscribe, click the bell icon so you will get notified when I upload the next video.